Welcome everyone. I hope that you're hearing my voice clearly. So welcome guys in a new webinar, and I hope that everything just going well for you. So just I need a little bit like confirmation that you can see my screen. I made presentation. Okay. So today we're gonna enjoy our webinar. So it's gonna be about securing FTP servers. So yeah, please guys, if you have any questions like while I'm doing the presentation, or if you need any explanation, I'm always checking your messages. Okay, so I need just like a small confirmation that you can see my screen. So I just did like a small confirmation, so I'm sharing my screen. Perfect. That's awesome. So yeah, welcome guys, just a new webinar. It's been like a while, and I'm so glad that I'm here again, making this a new webinar. So in case that you don't know me, I'm Mohamed Hamdi, and I'm a cybersecurity engineer and IT cybersecurity university instructor. So, and I'm certified this kind of, like cybersecurity certifications. So, and actually today I'm coming up with a new topic. So the question here, like always going to be asked, why you selected to talk about the FTP servers, right? So, here's the thing, because we know that each company, it doesn't matter. Is it like a huge company, startup, whatever, always that FTP server gonna be installed, right? And when it comes to talk about the FTP servers, I think like it's really so easy, to configure an FTP server, but the question comes, is it like really easy to configure a security of FTP server? I mean, okay, the solution, it's always exists. I want to make something, I want to install something that makes sharing files, between my employers, between me and my clients easy, right? But always the question comes, is it really enough, to configure that FTP? Is it really enough to implement a server without taking care about its security? It's always a huge question, because most of the people sometimes, and most sometimes of IT administrators, when it comes to configure a very easy solutions like FTP server, with a simple command, you can install an FTP server. But always there is that part when they are not taking a lot of care about the security things. They're going to be like, okay, the FTP is really easy to make, it's really so easy to install, but okay, what about the security? Okay, we're gonna see like how to configure this kind of things. Maybe you're gonna meet some companies, they have some FTP servers that they really just use it like that, without any even like minimum point of security. So that's why I selected today to talk about that topic. And it comes from, it's amazing to install an easy solution that make sharing file easy between you and your clients, between your employers. But yeah, let's secure it, let's discover how to secure that thing. So first of all, we're gonna start like from zero. Like if you are here and you don't know what is an FTP server, you're gonna answer that. And we're going to talk about what is it, right? Why we need an FTP server. What is an FTP server, right? I don't know what is it, like I have to understand first. So we're going to talk about what is an FTP. And after that, we're going to talk about how to configure an FTP server on a Linux server. Well, there is like a lot of ways, how to configure an FTP server. But at the same point, I selected to, I can say like install an FTP server on Linux, because it's super easy. Even like you can do it in Microsoft machine, but in the most of cases it's better to know how to install and configure an FTP server in a Linux. But we are not going to make only that. We're going to talk about how to secure. Okay, we're going to make an FTP server work. Okay, but we're going to talk about how to secure it, how to make things secure for us, so we can be more comfortable to use it. Here's the thing also, there is a huge confusion always, between protocols, protocols names, FTP and SFTP, like what is the difference, because yeah, there is a lot of confusion about that. So I have to talk about these points, and I have to explain what is the difference between the both. We're going to talk a little bit, about some common attacks. We are not going to make it so complicated, but yeah, we're gonna talk about some common attacks on FTP server. If you have an FTP server, maybe, maybe I say like a normal hacker, like the first point, if he want to attack your server, maybe this is the first point that he's gonna think about. Maybe this is the first like kind of task that he's gonna make to pen test, or I can say like to attack your server, right? And we're gonna talk about some tips, at the end, about securing some FTP server. What do you have to do if you have an FTP server right now in your company? What is the thing that you have to make, at least, even like I can say like at least, the minimum security. What do you have to do to make it secure, to make it like secure to use it? Like maybe you are using it with your clients, maybe you're using it with your employees. What is those kind of tips we're going to manipulate practically, this kind of tips, okay, and how we can use it with a secure way. So I hope that our plan is going to be like I can say so enjoyable. We're going to enjoy that, and I hope it's going to be clear. Again, guys, if you have any questions about the plan, if like things seems a little bit not clear enough, I'm always like shaking your messages, okay? So yeah, let's just move on. And let's just like talk about, at the beginning, what is an FTP server? This is like a huge question always. Before talking about the security part of FTP, we have to understand what is an FTP, okay? So an FTP server is like, in the simplest definition, it's kind of software that enables the transfer of files from one computer to another, okay? So here is like a specific point. So when I say like an FTP, you can imagine like it's a software, you have a Linux system, okay? Let's say like it's Ubuntu. We're gonna make that in a practical way, okay? So you have like a Linux server, and in that Linux server, you want to install a thing that make you share a file, okay? Like I can say like I want to share a file between me and between another employee in my company or another engineer. So what I have to do, I'm gonna install software. So it's kind of software, it's kind of application. So you're gonna install an FTP, right? You're gonna install a software. With a simple command, we're gonna manipulate that, and you're gonna just put it inside your Linux machine, whatever. It can be like, I don't know, Debian, Ubuntu, whatever. It doesn't matter. The distributor, it doesn't really matter. You can install an FTP on it. And then, when you're going to install it, you're going to configure it, okay? So here, absolutely, when we're going to talk about like a solution, when we're going to install an FTP server inside our server, so I can say like as like a normal softwares, it exists a lot of types of softwares. It means you can install an FTP server. It calls VSFTPD. It's like the most common one, and it's so famous. You can install a client of FTP, to access that server. But like the point that I wanted to specify here, the FTP, it's a general term, okay? So you need a server to install it inside your machine to make your machine act like an FTP server. It exists a lot of type of those softwares. It exists the VSFTPD. You can install the VSFTPD inside your machine to make it as an FTP server. You can use something it called Pro FTP. You can install it inside your machine to make it act like an FTP server. Got me? So I can say like it's kind of tool. It's kind of in the software. You're gonna just put it inside your machine to act like an FTP server and make it share file with other computer. Okay. So what I have to specify here also that when we are saying FTP server, okay, so the hardware part, it doesn't matter. It means that it doesn't require to have a server, like a huge server, okay, to install FTP. You can make your simple machine, like your computer, act like an FTP server. Someone can access your machine, take some files, upload some files. You got me, right? So the hardware part, it doesn't matter. This is like a huge point, by the way, because a lot of people think that you can install only FTP server on a server. You have to buy like an expensive server to install it. No, okay. So you have only just to have like maybe a computer, maybe a server, you know, the hardware part, it doesn't matter. You can always install, you know, an FTP on it. So your computer or your server can share the file, right? So someone else can put file into it or can download the file into it, you know, like from it, right? So here, the hardware part, it doesn't matter. So your computer can be an FTP server, okay? That's it. So when we talk about the FTP protocol, the file, you know, that protocol, you know, I have to specify another thing. The file transfer protocol, it's I can say like a language that computer use to transfer file over a TCP IP network. Okay, so here we're gonna specify that kind of characteristics of that protocol. And we have, you know, always when we talk about the famous ports, you know, we know well that a protocol works on 21, the number 21, you know, it's a port, it's so famous for hackers. When a hacker wanna pen test you, you know, when a hacker wanna make a scan on your machine, the first thing, maybe the first thing, we feel so happy when we find maybe an SSH port open, which is the 22, and when we find the 21 port open, which is the FTP, because here, any hacker, you know, gonna feel a little bit of dopamine, right? They're gonna be like, oh, whoa, 21, you know, it's my favorite port. It's an FTP server installed on my targeted machine. So I can use like some knowledge and I can just, you know, attack or making some FTP attacks on the targeted machine so I can, you know, steal some files.